What's up, everybody? Another dreadful video. Yeah, I know it's been a little while, but I'm back. No worries. And I decided to, I felt compelled to do another collection update. But this time, just kind of circle it around one of my favorite genres, which is doom metal. So even if it's not normally your bag, this is quite a variety of things. So you might want to stick around. And you're a subscriber. You want to see me anyway, right? Right? Anywho, so end of season. We're about to hit autumn. One of my favorite seasons, I'm sure, for a lot of you, at least in this part of the world. And another reason too is so that band Frayle, Frayle. They're kind of like this atmospheric, kind of ethereal kind of style of doom out of Cleveland, Ohio. They just put out their single from their upcoming album, which is Heretics and Lullabies, coming out in October. So they did Summertime Sadness, which I thought was appropriate, again, for this time of year. And yes, it's a Lana Del Rey cover, but they really make it their own. So I'm not going to be as long-winded as I usually am with this stuff, I hope. So let's see what I pulled for you guys. And yeah, should be a fun time. So I made a recent order through Paragon Records. It was only CDs, but I did manage to throw one Death Doom thing in the cart. And something kind of obscure, actually, which is why a lot of you are here, right? You love that obscure shit. So, yeah, so this is something from 1994 called Symphony of Death. It's Time. So, yeah, this is a project out of Poland. And so let me take it out of the jewel so you can actually see what the hell I'm showing here. And yeah, this is something here with, I guess they weren't too secure about just showing that because you can't even read it. So let's just reinforce it with some Garamond here and not even have the ellipses align very well and all that. But I don't know, that kind of crudeness is what gives it some of its charm, right? From back in the day. So yeah, Death Doom, one and done. It's Time, 1994. And if you can imagine what that style of metal was like at the time. So this is a reissue from 2024, 23, put out by Moon Records. There's that moon right there, if that's not evidence enough. Cool little disc there. And so this is something that's kind of that time period. Think of very keyboard laden. Still kind of very jarring with the way they mix death and doom with this. Is death metal oriented moments with the faster pace, but then it gets slower, which gives it that doom, I guess, kind of definition. Think of the first Gathering album, Always. Maybe even think of like Thorns of the Carrion. Remember them? So then kind of mix that in a pot, and you'd be kind of heading in this sort of direction. Vocals are done very, very well, and it's pretty solid considering the production on this. It's not too raw. It's actually quite listenable for what it is. It's again, I don't know if they consider this a demo or an official full length. I think it's a full length. So this band are shown as active, actually. So they've disappeared, and after 2023, they're shown as active, but they don't have a vocalist. Their actual vocalist passed away in 2010. As a matter of fact, this reissue has, I said right there, in memory of Tomasz Rozepa. I'm not sure. It's Polish, but it's kind of a, what do you call it? Memoriam to him. And so obviously they need a new vocalist. So can this be done after taking such a hiatus for so long? I mean, look at bands like Mark G with a C, Enchantment, who took that long hiatus back in the 90s and put out a new release, and it's fucking amazing. So, I'm still holding out hope that they can still do something, and, see if that will see the light of day. But cool stuff. If you see it around, I got mine on Paragon. I don't know if they have any more copies, but good shit. This one here is a bargain bin buy. Was not seeking this out, so saw it sitting there, And I've seen this cover art before through other distros and things like that. And so with a $4.99 price tag, couldn't turn this down, especially when it got boobs on the cover. This is Aiwass, Aiwass, with Wayward Gods. This is their debut full length. And yeah. Am I lame because I gotta censor the boobs here? So I don't know if you guys caught an Alan, Let's Talk Metal. So, he did a recent video about a week, 2 weeks ago. And he kind of got shit from YouTube, basically, because he showed a cover of a band, Mephitis, I believe they're called, with their Ember Dawn album. I'll show the thumbnail. And if you noticed, there is a monotone, very monotone, crudely drawn single boob. And he got flack for that. And so it took him a while to figure out why YouTube was giving him such a fucking hassle, over it. And but yet, we have other people showing albums like My Dying Brides, right? Songs of Darkness, Words of Light, and that has a monotone pair of boobs on there, and that seems to fly by just fine. And then Alan shows this thing, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to gamble on that just because I want you guys to actually see this video, and I don't want to deal with YouTube's damn, Nazi censorship police dealings with things like boobs, So anyway, back to Aiwass. So this is they have another full length called The Falling, and they since changed their logo. So I believe they're still independently released, which is kind of a shame because like these independently released things, you don't want bands like this to, see their stuff in the bargain bin, with the kind of effort they put in, not having a backing from a label, So I decided to support them. I gave them $5, at least to the store, But I'll be sure to pick up their follow up through a proper channel and give them a better support because I really dig this shit. Is this for everybody? No. This is kind of like a kind of a droning style of psychedelic doom. Think of bands like that come to mind are like Switchblade Jesus or Crypt Trip. One of my favorites from Texas, which is Burn Ritual. If you guys know Burn Ritual, another cool one to check out if you like the kind of thing. But it's still heavy, quite thick. The vocals are very droning. It's not the main thing. It really focuses on that kind of psychedelic elements. But don't get me wrong, this band is dark. Especially with the follow-up album and the whole aesthetic, they're letting you know that this is not a light ride. So yeah, they even got a cool little insert here. If you're doing an independent release like this and you bother to do a colored insert, I mean that's more money put in there. But it shows the effort and appreciation they put into the crafts. So very well done album. I think it's definitely worth the time to sink into. It's definitely rewarding. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I am looking forward to picking up their follow-up. But yeah, really cool shit. So Aiwass, Wayward Gods. I believe they had an EP right before this one. But very good. There you go. Nip slip. Oh. Yeah, 5 tracks. Good stuff. So you may have noticed something. I'm a Crypt Sermon fan. No, really. Shocking as it may. I am a Crypt Sermon fan, which is a doom metal band based out of Philadelphia. They released Stygian Rose last year, which ended up on a lot of end-of-year lists, and for good reason. Early Moods got me for number 1, but Crypt Sermon came in very close. It's a very different kind of style of doom. These guys are a little more on the epic side, and so they dropped an EP pretty recently, and I pre-ordered mine through Decibel, which is a Philadelphia magazine. So of course they're going to support their boys, And so this is Saturnian Appendices, and so it's got, I believe it's 4 tracks. Here it is. Might be a little hard to make out what's there, but they're going for that kind of woodcut, ancient, classic kind of appeal. And so here is here are the guys, and it's so cool that Tanner's in the band now. These guys are also in we got members here in other bands too, which is cool. We got Horrendous and Daiva and a bunch of other things, which is pretty cool. So what entails this EP? Why did they need to drop this EP at this particular time? And is it any good? Is this just a rehash or just kind of leftovers from the Stygian Rose sessions? And I can't answer that 100% because the first two tracks, only Ash and Dust, right here, which great opener. It's probably my favorite track on this. And I think it could have easily gone to Stygian Rose and been, I would have blinked twice. It would fit just right in. But Stygian Rose was already such a grandiose album alone as it was. So I very much welcomed this EP when they announced it. It was quite a surprise. I had no inkling so this was coming. And then it follows up with A Fool to Believe, another great track, probably my second favorite track. So the last two tracks we've seen before through Decibel magazine. As you know, they released their flexis. If you're a subscriber to the physical magazine, you get their flexis. And one of the earliest flexis that they've had, going back to 2017, was their Mayhem cover for the mysterious Dumb Satanas. But here it's the mysterious Doom Satanas. And they pretty much make it their own. You can't even tell it's a Mayhem song. It could have fit easily within their I guess their Rolodex. They include a solo and everything. It just it doesn't have the blast beats like the original Mayhem song in it. But you know what? You wouldn't expect it. If you're gonna do metal it out. And then Lachrymose right here, which is probably their more melodic, most atmospheric song on this thing. And all the songs here are killer. But Lachrymose was their teaser track before Stygian Rose dropped. And again, you can only get it exclusively through the Decibel Flexi Series single. And it wasn't on the Stygian Rose album. So again, you can only get it through that Flexi. But if I don't have the Flexi, how the hell would I even be able to listen to that song? Well, here you go. We got the EP. So, and then you also get Doom Mysterious with this. The Mysterious Doom Satanas, should I say. So, yeah, worth picking up. So, it came in this nice, I don't know if there's other variants, but the one I got here is a nice red marble. Come on. Look at this thing. It's like a nice, it looks brighter on camera, but it's actually more of a bloody color when you look at it physically up close. But man, this thing is pretty, very, very pretty. Let me look at that. So yeah, and I love how they kept the kind of the wood carved cuts for the label. So great job, guys, and what a very welcome surprise. So when are we getting the next Crypt Sermon album? When is this happening? Just saying. This one here, it's a little difficult to describe, but I would still lump them in the Doom category. So this band's been around almost 10 years. I believe they formed in 2016. And it's a Swedish band, which makes it hard to pronounce, called Gravkväde. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm a Yank. And I believe it means funeral hymn, something like that. And this is a release they dropped last year called Prologue. And this thing, man, so they just got done doing what you call a trilogy. And it was kind of part of the Grav series. It was like Grav Aska, Grav Ruin, Grav Andy. So, I got those between CDs and tape formats. I think I got two on vinyl. And but this is not an easy band to get into if it's not normally your bag, or if you're a very impatient kind of listener. This is kind of, again, very, very dark in a literal sense, but also in their sound. They kind of mixed essences of funeral doom with black metal, and there's moments of a lot of ambience with their stuff. They rely on a lot of atmosphere, And this is going to sound very strange to describe. So yeah, so this was put up, at least for the vinyl here, was put up by Transylvanian Recordings for this release. So it's quite bare bones. There's not even like an insert or nothing. And I'm not quite sure if it's the label's decision, if it's a cost-cutting thing, or is this just a band just trying to be mysterious and not giving you a whole lot to go by. Some of their names remain mystery. I think there's like maybe a member or two that you can find out their real names. But for the most part, there's very little they want you to know about them. And as far as, all the little ins and outs of their lives, I mean, who knows, I mean, they might be bankers and lawyers, something dangerous, no, but these guys definitely want you to be in a sort of state of depression. It's funeral doom. It's a very downer kind of listen. It's very depressing. And again, it's a funny way to describe it is take kind of if you like I Hate God, take I Hate God, and what that does to you, when you play one of those albums, and just in a way it kind of just maneuvers and swings and just pummels you. These guys are kind of taking kind of what I Hate God does. I don't even know if they even know I Hate God, but I'm just kind of lumping it in there with just that kind of just the way it kind of incorporates into the headspace, because this band does that to me too. They use a lot of monotonous riffing. Again, why you need patience to let it pay off with the build-up, and thick bass, some raspy kind of screaming, a very pain and very anguished kind of stuff. Yeah, again, think I Hate God, except with black metal, with a bit of a funeral element kind of thrown in. And you start to begin to understand what I mean of how to describe their sound, so dark stuff, quite evil. But again, another band I've been kind of just keeping my eye on and very interesting, but I know what I'm getting into when I put in one of the releases. But if you can muster it, definitely check it out. So this is part of a nameless grave sale that went on, I believe it was early summer, something like that. And so I'm finally getting around to talking about it, showing this. And this is an album that dropped later last year, which is why another reason why I kind of missed it with all the other stuff that was dropping end of year and all that. We're about to hit that again this cycle. So Santiago, Chile, and Capilla Ardiente. If you like, is one of the better bands doing the epic doom style, coming from the South American region. And so this is their latest, Where Gods Live and Men Die, put out by High Roller. And look at that cover art, man. Just soak that thing in. When you got skulls on a mountain, it's usually a good sign. Yeah, so the last thing we seen them put out was the Siege back in 2019, and I love the Siege. So this is a band where the members are all in a bunch of other bands too, so they're no strangers to doom metal and and the kind of musicianship that they do and their craft. So this is some epic doom metal kind of in that very high caliber. And again, very easy comparisons. The lazy comparisons could be like like your Candlemasses and stuff like that. Though I feel like the production here, it's quite different, and it's kind of thick and more rolling than something like Candlemass. But I feel like with this release, it's quite a different direction than their 2019 release. Take for example the vocalist Felipe, who is also in Procession, another Chilean doom band, great band, but he joined the Russian act Scald, who made a resurgence pretty recently and put out their album also last year. So he's been pretty busy, but I almost feel like he kind of took the epicness kind of stylings of Scald and reinvigorated back into Capilla Ardiente here. And now, is that a better move? I love the Siege because it was, to me, immediately more catchy. The riffs moved a little faster. it's my long-winded way of saying it wasn't as much of a grower kind of album like the way this one is for me. This one, it needed a little more time and spins to really begin for it to grow and build up in the kind of way for me to keep revisiting this album. So it's again only 4 tracks, and I think the favorite one might be the Hands of Fate Around My Neck. But if this is normally your great art, if I pull it out like this, you get to see the whole thing in its glory. So another argument for having a good gatefold, right? So all the lyrics are right here. But like I said, these guys are in a bunch of other bands, and they're good at what they do. And but I feel like this time around they released more of a grower album than something that's gonna stop you immediately and bring you in like the way the Siege did. So, if this is a band you're already following, pick it up. Again, doom metal is your thing, especially of the epic variety. This is definitely something that I definitely am happy to have in the collection. So Capella Ardiente, so I just don't wait another 5-6 years to put out another release. I feel like this even with a million other projects going on, I love what you do. Tiny spoiler. So there might be an item or 2 or 3 here that might make my top 10 list of the year. I feel like there's some things in this pile that are that strong. And one of not an exception would be the latest Messa, or Messa, however you say it. So this is a band that I feel like a lot of people are finally starting to get around to discover, even though they've been around since 2016, I believe. And this is their first one on a major label like Metal Blade. They were on Svart Records before, so this is the spin. And it's been getting a lot of praises and exposure, and I feel like they're finally getting the real due. And so I managed to catch them live back in October 2023 on their first US tour. I was not going to miss that. And but here this time around, they managed to do a change of styling and direction. Every one of their albums, it's an evolving form, and no 2 albums sound alike. So if you call my review with Alan, Let's Talk Metal, on Heavy Metallurgy, when it's dropped, you'll hear more about our feelings on this. But I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up on a lot of top 10 lists in the coming months. The art direction here, because Ouroboros here, this is I guess a tire, and the sculpture is just, they went very monotone and very minimal with the art direction on this. So like here you go. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Just like a Polaroid of the band there. There's actually a better picture of the band. It's not a great photo, but at least you get to see a little more, with the band here. So everybody here is, firing all cylinders. It's got its heavy moments. There is a saxophone moment in here. Don't worry, they don't overdo it. But it's just very more eclectic. This is Scarlet flavor of doom. I think they created that style or named that style on their own. But I'm okay with it because it's that different, and as far as a way to describe it versus other kind of doom metal that's out there. And very thick. It's got some great melodic lines, great fucking soloing here by what's his name again, Alberto, the guitarist. And but if this shows up on those top 10 lists, in these videos, you're gonna hear a lot of people just completely be head over heels over Sarah's vocals. I think Sarah is one of the strongest things that people gravitate to when they get into this band. And she's able to really take her range and do a lot with it. So this time around, they incorporate that sort of post-punk kind of style, and effects, but it works. They make it work. Somehow they've evolved and they made it work with this element. So do not miss out on this if you get a chance to see it around. If this is something you could get into, if you got a limited range and you got like your shit just fast, dark, and evil, and just whatever, like this may not be your band. Looking at you, Roger, because it also came in this white vinyl. So, I don't think this might be in your particular kind of taste. But again, it just everybody's palate's different. So, but again, if you're more of an adventurous explorer of Doom and other things, and you got more eclectic taste, again, not for everybody, but I feel like there's a lot still here to enjoy, and I feel like it's that strong. This band tends to make my album of the year lists every single time they drop something. I think this year's gonna be no different. But will it be number one? I don't know. We will find out. Another thing too is, with Sarah on this album, and I say it every time, but there's something she doesn't know, and that is, I'm going to marry her, and that's the craziest thing because she doesn't even know this yet. Mind blowing. Yeah, Sarah, I'm going to marry you. You don't know this, but it's coming. Yeah, get ready. Another Nameless Grave Sale pickup, and this is a band that was not really on my radar, and I don't hear anybody ever talk about this band. So another doom metal act, also from Italy, just like that Messa that I just talked about. And really interesting thing is, so this is Bottomless with their second album, and which features Sarah. There she is. She's back. Did you know Sarah was in another band besides Messa? Yeah. And crazy how it is. So did I pick this up simply because Sarah was in this band? Sarah was in this band. I'm going to marry her, So she does not sing on this album. The vocals are performed by a fellow by the name of Giorgio. It's a 3-person act, and so the sound's a little more stripped down than something like Messa is. A little more what you call straightforward kind of doom metal. As a matter of fact, despite being from Italy, they take on a very American form of doom metal. Think of bands like Pentagram, Saint Vitus, Obsessed, that kind of direction of doom. You wouldn't know they're from Italy, but perform very, very well. I mean, the songs here actually stick to your head and they're quite catchy. Production's done very well. I mean, put up by Dying Victims right here, so you know how they do. So came with this nice little insert. There's the band again. There's Sarah again. Are you stalking me, Sarah? I think she's stalking me. So anyway, so here is the lyrics, and so yeah, Giorgio, David Lucido, and there's Sarah again. Yeah, so they put out a split last year. So this is the latest full length they put out, and so they're still active. So we should expect another drop of Bottomless. So Sarah's no longer in the band, which makes sense. She's busy with the Messa stuff and their success. So for her to remain on a project like this, I don't think she would have room for it. And the bassist now is actually another female by the name of Laura Nardelli, and who's taking on bass duties. So now with Sarah gone doing the bass, she actually performs the bass pretty well on this too. For again, her talents extend beyond just her vocals. She can actually play an instrument. So now your vocals can be an instrument in and of itself too. Like I said, they put out a split last year with Witching Altar, which is a Brazilian doom band. I just have this fridge magnet to show a visual aid of what I'm talking about. Witching Altar, great band too, and they're just not very good with distribution and physical releases and stuff. I wish they would be better at that, so more people know about Witching Altar. But so I plan to pick up that split sooner or later with Bottomless and them. But good stuff. Again, if you like that American style of doom metal and then that Pentagram, Saint Vitus direction, check them out. Again, it's got enough variety. The songs do stand out. It's not a very samey album whatsoever. So Good shit. Good shit. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show from that Nameless Grave sale is something that I don't know why it took so long to pick this one up, because I loved Church of Bones when it dropped back in 2019. And if you are a Candlemass fan, and you're very well lapped into that epic doom metal, I mean, this is a sea you want to swim in. Monasterium, I think it's one of the best kept secrets out of Poland, and I don't hear many people talk about this band. So this is their latest release, and it did come out way back in 2022. So I'm hoping they're due for another drop, not too far out in the future. So this is a Cold Are the Graves. Just soak in that album art. I mean, this is why you buy vinyl. I mean, you get this in a glorious 12-inch. I mean, come on, guys. So, lyrics in the back. There's the photo of the band. Put out by Nine Records, which is a Polish label. And gotta have the skull, right? Gotta have the goddamn skull right there. Look at that thing. So, no insert, of course, because the lyrics are all right here. Conveniently available. I can just barely read it there. So, not very 40-year-old plus eyes friendly. But with a little magnifying glass, you should be fine. Right? So, yeah, just nothing fancy. Just plain black. And a lot of you guys like just plain black. It's a heavy. I believe this is 180 gram. So, this is their third album. I believe the first one was just self-titled. Came out in 2016. And so, Monasterium. Is this worth picking up? Are they any good? What kind of doom metal are they? These guys kind of, if I were to describe a band adjacent that describes something like what Candlemass is doing very well, this would be at the top of the list. These guys are slick. I can talk about a bunch of other doom bands, and it's like when you talk about a stoner band who gets compared to Sabbath, but there's very few who actually sound like Sabbath, right? It's like, when you move into something like Candlemass and bands that sound like Candlemass, but there is a fine line between sounding like a band and just being a plain, just flat out clone of the band. And I don't think these guys are a clone of Candlemass, but they're slick in the way they are, in that kind of way, which makes them dangerous and competitive. Well, they're not Candlemass are the kings, right? When it comes to this thing, and they've been around a long time, but these guys, definitely have been studying them very, very hard, and have been really taking a lot of notes, and fucking perform this so expertly, and they get doom metal, and the songs here are catchy. The production on this is done very cleanly and very well, and between the solos and and the catchy riffing, you get that nice doomy stank face. You know what I'm talking about. When you just hit that riff and it's just there, you're like, this does it. Great release, highly recommended. And had I known about this drop or picked it up at the time, this would have made my list. It's somewhere very high up. But Cold Are the Graves, Monasterium, great band, very Candlemass adjacent out of Poland. Who knew, huh? There you go. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this one, and this is not a band I expected to be so high on my list already in this part of the year. So this is a band out of Phoenix, Arizona, and it's their fourth full length, and we haven't seen a release from them since 2017. As a matter of fact, their last album was called Harvester of Bong Loads. There's a clue right there. So, yeah, I'm talking about Goya. And so this is put out by Blues Funeral Recordings. So if you know that label, you know the kind of stuff they put out. That's the label putting out the new Castle Rat this year. So this is In the Dawn of November. I mean, that cover art alone is going to just, great. Dirk Robinson, I believe, is the artist. Great job. And and there's the back. So if you think it's just this monotone thing or whatever, like, nope. I mean, look at that shit. So What's so special about this? So, came with a nice little hype sticker. These are always fun, right? So, it says, Graveyard Grooves, Bleak Reflections, and Sludge Metal Majesty. Recommended if you dig Electric Wizard, Acid King, Sleep, Weed Eater. So, Stone or Sludge, right? But this stuff here is the production, I think, believe the mixing and all that stuff was involved with Jack Andino. If you guys know that name, he was a pretty big name, in music production. He worked with a lot of the sub pop bands back in the day, Mudhoney, Soundgarden, Nirvana. I think he did the last Windhand album. I think he was involved with mixing that. So he's back. So he does good work, and it shows up here. And the singing is very easy to make out. The riffs are crisp, thick, punchy, in your face, and the most important thing is fucking catchy. This thing does not get you bored. These are actual songs on here. Very good production. One of my favorite songs, not just in doom metal, just in general this year, it's Cemetery Blues, the second track. Oh man, earworm. And then Depressive Episode, another good one. Side B begins with Sick of Your Shit. So it's a little bit of the Dave Weindorf kind of attitude kind of thrown in there too, on top of it. So again, you do get elements of a lot of the modern stoner bands just taken more cohesively, concentrated, made very catchy, and with quite a bit of the familiar structure to keep you kind of honed in and latched onto this. But I believe this is a very strong album, their best release to date, and just one of the best sludge, doom, stoner, whatever releases this year. It's that good and that strong, and expect to see this high on my list. That's for sure. Where? I don't know yet. More shit is dropping. I don't know. You'll find out. Goya in the dawn of November. Definitely at least check it out. Okay, we're getting close. I promise you. So this is one of, I guess, New York bands of two that I'll be showing here. So this is to give you a bit of context. A band I didn't know about, but for one reason or another, I just never got around to checking them out. And so the way I was able to stumble onto this band was because they played the Philly Decibel Metal and Beer Fest this year. So 2 days of bands, playing. One of the main draws for me was the first day with Mother of Graves, which is, again, a band that's, I've been a fan of for a little while, and one of the newer bands out there doing that, death and doom kind of style. And the second day was a band that kind of came in earlier in the stage. Didn't have much of a draw, and I believe it's because a lot of people just are not familiar with this band. And I'm also just as guilty of a party. But I'm glad I made their set because they blew me away. And I was not expecting it to enjoy this as much as I did. So I'm talking about Funeral Leech. And this one's put out by Carbonized Records. So this is an older release. This is Death Meditation. Came out back in 2020. Again, anything coming out in 2020 could also be a factor in, and a very excusable reason why people might have missed a lot of things, simply because of the craziness of what that year was. So, so Death Meditation, right here, and 6 tracks, and this thing right here is so again, you got a nice little hype sticker there, and the way they're describing is dismal death doom from New York City invokes 6 ghastly hallucinations from beyond the living world. Anguish and despair await those who dare. Ooh, down card included. So this thing right here, and the way they were performing this, again, my first time was from a live experience with this band, and this kind of invokes The hot new Death Doom band album right now, I guess it's that innumerable forms, right? If you're loving that innumerable forms, and that is the direction you sway with your metal and death and doom, you wouldn't be too far off with this. These guys, I was hearing like spectral voice, with a lot of conventional death metal kind of thrown in there, but also, imagine Autopsy with some Vastum kind of thrown in elements of Asphyx, at the same time. Very grimy kind of stuff. These guys can pull any of these kind of influences out on the whim. That's how good this is. So not their latest. The last one came out like just last year, The Illusion of Time. So again, I didn't check it out because I'm exploring them for the first time for real this year. And we got Funeral Leech. So highly recommend it if you don't already know. If you're in the Death Doom camp and you might have already this is nothing new, very familiar to you. But then you got like a few stray apples like myself who somehow completely missed the boat. Look, I got the anchor. I'm back on the boat. All right, cool it. Funeral Leech. Stupid, silly me. I described Funeral Leech as a grimy kind of sound, and I forgot to show the vinyl because it's got a grimy variant. So it's definitely worth showing. Cool label, by the way. Let me look at that. This color is as sick as it sounds. There's the label I'm talking about. I love when they do shit like this. So very, very cool. That's all I wanted to show. Definitely cool one to pick up. I don't know if they have other variants. I'm sure maybe this and black, but apart from that, I don't really know. Another really good band out of New York, and this is their second full length. So they put out an EP, and the first full length was called False Confession back in like 2019. And this is a band involving two members. I know one of them is Doug Moore, but both guys were involved in or are involved in, if you know that band Pyron, which is more of a kind of an experimental kind of style of death metal, or Sepatus, which is more of a technical Black and Death kind of act. So these guys are reaching into a more experimental avant-garde kind of territory, which kind of makes sense with Weeping Sores. And this is the latest drop, and I believe this came out back in, I want to say, May. And the Convalescence Agonies, a lot of syllables, and look at how pretty that artwork is. And it's pretty but yet ugly at the same time. And so there's the back. So just to kind of reinforce the weirdness of this, there's that Eyed Void Hanger logo. So you kind of know what you're getting there. Won't be too much of a surprise, right? So cool little color insert. I think it looks like color pencil or color pencil watercolor kind of mixed media maybe. There's the lyrics. And this is I got the red variant, which I believe goes very well with the artwork on this. So there's your flowery flower theme they have kind of going on here. And there you go. Very simple label. This band, man, this is not a simple one to describe because it's quite out there. But I do know that this one is going to be very high up on my list. I've had come back to it several times, and it doesn't get tired on me. I've discovered new little things, and stuff starts to click even more than before. This is how you know you got a winner. And I feel like a lot of people slept on this one, or just on this band in general, and definitely worth exploring. So it does have violin, so it's kind of, I feel like it enhances and expands their sound. I don't feel like it's like a core part of the sound, but it's an element that embellishes what they're already doing here. What comes to mind is kind of like take like disembowelment, add some edge of sanity, little avant-gardeness. The thing that comes closest to what I can describe is maybe like bands like Phlebotomized. Are they still doing anything nowadays anyway? Are they still active? So, but I take Phlebotomized formula. I'm not saying they sound exactly like them or anything like that, but they have kind of if you're already listening to bands like that, I can definitely easily steer you in this direction. They kind of add more of the doom kind of into it. And not, the thing that really helps with this too is this was mixed by, not mixed, but should I say mastered. This was mixed by Doug Moore, I think in his own studio, but was mastered by Greg Chandler. So, so if you're you esoteric fans out there, would definitely appreciate that. But Weeping Sores, The Convalescent's Agonies, don't sleep on this. They do have a CD format of this also, so you CD hounds won't miss out. But fucking amazing. Definitely will be one of my favorites for 2025. Even top 10. We'll see where that lands. Okay, last one for today. This is an order I did through Transcending Records, and saw this in there, and I've always meant to get around to this, and I always forget. So I finally put an order in, and this is a 1993 doom metal release. I would say this would still fall under the category of obscure, even though it has Dan Swano's name stamped on this thing. He's involved in a lot of shit. So, he had a doom metal project for a little bit there. So we got Godsend with As the Shadows Fall. And in my usual fashion, there's the little hype there. And this is a must-have for fans of melodic doom metal from the 90s era, featuring Dan Swano. I don't think it's a must-have, but if you're already a doom aficionado or doing something like late night watching a dreadful video about doom metal, this might be a draw to you. Do you know of any such people? So, yeah, I mean, look at the back. You got all the tropes of what you see in doom metal kind of stuff, particularly the early 90s. And this is considered a Norwegian act. So we got members, Benny Larsen, who does drumming on this. It's you know him from Edge of Sanity, on top of Swano, who does the vocals and keyboard work. And I think he did the follow-up too in the Electric Mist. So this band survived 3 albums and called it quits in 97. So maybe Swano will revive this one day. But I don't know. I think it had its charm for its time or whatever. The problem with this is that it's a very uneven album. There are times it does move very fast, and then it gets really punishing slow, funeral slow. It's but in a very 90s production kind of way. So it's hard to recommend simply because of the roughness and unevenness of this. Even with people behind this project who kind of know what they're doing, but it's kind of like when you listen to the early Nightingale stuff, it's still kind of rough around the edges. Swano still trying to find his footing and really trying to get in there with that. I feel like that's the way he was kind of treating this, along with everybody else. I think it's only like three main members, as far as what I remember. Just one track. What is it? Wall Rung on the Weight of the Unbedded. I'm not sure, but it sounds like a garage rock song. It feels out of place here. It's the second to last track, and then it ends in Silence of Time. That's the song you want. That's the song that's the most punishing and more what I would call standout fucking doom. And it's got that just that bounciness to the drum, the cold, what you call cavernous kind of feel to it for its time, and that is a reason to visit this album. I mean, the opening track Slade is pretty good too. As the Shadows Fall. I mean, there's a lot here to enjoy. Don't get me wrong. But I just love that Silence of Time track. It's about 7-8 minutes, something like that. So it definitely fits the trope of what you expect for something which is kind of more that doom metal. I would say this falls more in line with something like the Forest Equilibrium. It's more like the direction of more of the cathedral stylings of doom metal, maybe funeral, if that makes sense to you. So it's definitely there. The cover itself kind of tells you a lot. So Godsend and Shadows Fall. I think they still have copies over at Transcending Records. So definitely check it out. And yeah, I'll leave it with that. And yeah. Thank you for bearing with me and sticking it out through this video, making it to the end. I know it's quite a lot of stuff, and but so far this year has been looking very interesting, and we still have more months to go, so there will be more stuff dropping throughout the year. There's a new Evoken album, Hood and Menace, a Paradise Lost. I mean, there's more shit coming down the pipeline to explore for 2025. So as far as the channel, I got this is my 5th year doing this YouTube thing, so likely I'll gotta lock down a certain weekend to get most of the people together and celebrate 5 years on YouTube, and not just for myself, but also in recognition of other people within the VC. And so stay tuned for that. There will be a Halloween this year. There's a Halloween every year, right? So expect another dreadful Halloween special something. So I'll be announcing something. The chances are I'll likely do maybe a live stream instead of the pre-recorded thing I was doing previous years. Guests to be determined, announced, yada yada. And VCLT thing gonna sneak in here and there because you guys are so fucking awesome in the community, and time to give back and also give back, receive, give back. You know how the cycle works. We all love sharing and exploring with what we do with this thing, this madness of VC metal YouTubing. What the hell, man? Yeah, here we are. So it's been awesome, and the usual end of year stuff. So thank you for bearing with me, and I appreciate all you people and subscribers. And again, I'm a little too long-winded, so I don't want to get into all the details. Just want to say thanks and appreciate all the subscribers and everybody who tunes in to watch. And I wish I was a little more active with everybody else's videos, but there's only so much time that I can dedicate to a lot of you. But I'm still in the background, so don't you worry. So you can put down your tissues. So what's my usual line? Keep it dreadful. Definitely keep it dreadful. And I'll catch you all in the next one.